Hi, welcome back to Mr. Silver's Math. Today we're going to talk about financial terms. So you're going to take the next 10 to 12 minutes and write down anything you can think of or anything you're able to find on the World Wide Web about the following terms. So if need be, hit pause on this video and go ahead and fill out those notes. When you're done, hit unpause. And yep. Okay, so interest is the price or the amount of money you have to pay to borrow money. Typically, your interest when you buy a car, sometimes they say 0% interest. When you get a loan for a house or a mortgage, they could say your interest rate is 5.5%. That's how much you have to pay in addition to the actual amount that you borrowed. Your income is the money received or earned for working or through investments. So if you have a job, you get paid by hour, or you get a salary, that's your income. If you have investments or stocks, like you purchase stocks in Caterpillar, and you make money off of that, dividends, that could be considered income as well. So taxes are money that you pay to the government, everyone's favorite thing. It could be property taxes, it could be federal taxes. You're used to taxes already. Anytime you go to the convenience store and make a purchase, you have to pay sales tax. So tax is already something that you've been doing, but it may get more complex as you get older in life. So the net income is the money that you make after taking out taxes. So let's say you make $10,000 a year. They take out $3,000 in taxes. Your net income would be $7,000. So the debt is the money you owe to someone or to a bank or a lender. So if I borrow $100,000 for a house from Washington Community Bank, I owe a debt of $100,000 to Washington Community Bank. Similar, if I borrow $10 from a student, I'm in their debt, I owe them $10 at some point. So credit is the ability to borrow money or goods with the understanding that you'll pay them back. The most common form of credit is a credit card. So you make a purchase because you don't have the money currently, and then in a month you'll have that money and you can pay them back with the interest. Savings is money you don't spend. It is money that you put aside and use for a future purpose or a future purchase. Available funds are the money that you can use from your bank account. So if my bank account says I have $3,000.21, I could use $3,000.21 right then and there. I can withdraw it and spend it as needed. Compound interest is an interest on a loan or savings that collects from a certain date. So your compound interest is usually applied per month for any loan, or if you have a savings account, you get an interest per month. And then the principal is the amount of money a bank or lender lets you borrow. So let's say I have to buy a new house. I need to borrow $60,000 to purchase this house. That would be the principal amount of money, $60,000. So now we're going to kind of see some of those phrases in action. So example 1 is asking us to find the amounts, or to find the amounts, we're going to add the principal and the interest together. So if my principal is $22,809, my interest is $300. The amounts that I would have to pay back in total would be $23,109. If I were to borrow $1,500 from the bank and they charge me $250 in interest, I would have to pay the bank back $1,750. And so this is how borrowing money works. You pay the principal, and then you also have some sort of interest that you have to pay back. Not always, but most of the time there's an interest you have to pay back. So the actual amount that you're paying is the principal plus the interest. Example 2 says I need to find the interest. So we're going to subtract, which means we're going to minus the principal from the amount. So my principal was $7,325. I do not know the interest, but I know the total was $16,162. So over here in red, I said you can't have negative numbers. So we can't do 7,325 minus 16,162. We're going to get a negative number. Can't have that. So we're going to switch it around. We're going to do 16,162 minus 7,325. So this particular loan cost $8,837 in interest. Second one is, here's the amount that I paid for the loan. Here was the principal, and here was how much the interest was. Now, these interest rates are high. That's not typical. That is just ones that I made up the numbers. So those aren't necessarily realistic. And then the third example is asking us to find the principal. So we're going to take our amount and we're going to subtract the interest to get the principal, or the amount of money that we had to borrow. Remember, we can't have negative numbers, so we're not doing interest minus amount. We're going the other way, amount minus interest. Okay, so once again, the principal is how much you start with. The interest is how much money you have to pay to borrow that amount that you started with, or the principal.